Hi guys, Wendy here from Learn For You, and I'm just coming on today to do a quick tutorial video regarding the Vlookup function within Microsoft Excel. So Vlookup's one of those functions that I use it more than probably any other, and it's really useful for finding data or specific data within a vast range. Maybe you've got a big table or just a big data range and you want to pull out specific information. Vlookup's going to be really handy for extracting that information. So let's get started, and we'll go through the breakdown of how a Vlookup works, and then we'll do some examples as well. So in this example we have a table of data, and in the first column we have employee IDs, we then have first names, surnames, job titles, and finally email addresses. And I have the question of what is the email address for the employee with ID number 106, and we're going to use the Vlookup function to give us the answer to this question. So first of all, what we want to do is break down that function. So we need to understand what steps of information we need to give Excel so that it gives us the correct answer to this question. So let's break down the Vlookup function itself. First we're going to start with equals Vlookup and open brackets. Now the equals is going to tell Excel that we want a result, or that we're starting a formula. We then have Vlookup, and that's the specific function that we're going to use. We then have open brackets, which is telling Excel that we're going to start the function. Next we have the lookup value. Now this is telling Excel what it needs to look for in the range of data. Moving across, we have the range to look in. So what range of data will Excel find both the lookup value and the result in? Now a common mistake here, you have to make sure that the lookup value is found in the first column of the range of data that you select. Otherwise you're going to get an error from your function. Next we have the column that Excel is going to find the result in. So this is a column number within the range of data where it's going to find the result. And finally we have what's called match type. And this is telling Excel if you want it to look for something that's exactly the same as your Vlookup value, or something that's an approximate or close to match. Finally, we're going to use the close bracket to tell Excel that we've given it all the information, and we're going to end the function. So let's go back into Excel and we'll give it all the information we need to give us a correct result to this function. Okay, so now we understand the steps a little bit better. We'll just recap them and then we'll give the information that Excel needs to give us that correct result. So we've just been through, we start the formula off with the equals, we then tell Excel what function we want to use, and in this instance it's Vlookup, and we then open the brackets. We then want to tell Excel what the lookup value is. We want to tell it what range it's going to find the information in, what column reference it's going to find the result in, and finally what kind of match we're looking for. So putting that information in, what's our lookup value? Well, the question was, what is the email address for employee with the ID number 106? So that's our lookup value, that's our criteria. So the lookup value is 106. Look up the person with ID number 106. And where's it going to find the information? You need to give it the range of data. So I want this full range of data. So I want from B4 all the way down to F14. That's the full range of data where Excel is going to find all the information. Now what column is it going to find the result in? Now we're not looking for column F or column I or Z here. What we're looking for is a number that relates to the column based on the range of data. So in this instance, this is my range of data from column B or B4 all the way through to F14. Now the first column that you pick up is going to be column reference 1. So we have column reference 1, which is column B, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Now I find it handy at the top of my range of data just to put those numbers in, and it means that I don't have to count. I can just look at this dummy line here, if you will. So in this instance, what's the column number it's going to find the result in? Well, I want the email address. That's the result that I'm looking for. So in this instance, this is my range of data, and the email address is going to be found in the 5th column, or column number 5. So that's what I want to put in for that snippet of information. And finally, what's the match type? Now you've got two options here, it's true or false. If you want to look for an exact match, so your lookup value is 106, I want to look for exactly that number, then you want to put in there false. If you want to look for an approximate match, so something that has 106 in, then you want to put true. I would specifically say when you're learning this VLOOKUP function, stick with an exact match. Stick with false for that piece of information of the function. So once we have broken that down into columns, just so we can see the steps, but if I have a look down here on row 28, we can see what the function or the formula should be written as in that one cell. So we have equals VLOOKUP, open brackets, 106, that's the lookup value. Then we have the range, which is B4 through to B14, F14, excuse me. Then we have the column reference that we're going to find the result in, which is the number 5, and then we have false, saying that we're looking for an exact match. All of the steps are broken up with a comma, as with any other function that you use within Excel. We break each step up with that comma. And then we get the result of justin.clark@myemail.com, which is the correct result. Now, so that's how a VLOOKUP works. Now, let me just give you some more examples. So let's say this time I want to look up the email address for employee with the reference 109. So I'm just going to type 109 in this cell. And what I'm going to do is just rewrite the formula. So I'm going to say equals VLOOKUP, open brackets. Now this time, instead of writing 109, I want to look for ID number 109. I'm going to reference this cell. And that's sometimes easier because it means I can change the value in that cell and the result of the formula is going to automatically update for me. So where am I going to find the information? You're going to find it in this set of data. And you don't have to pick up the titles. You can do if you wish to. I've got this set up as a table, so it's just referencing table 1 for me, rather than the cell references B4, or in this case B5 through to F14. Moving on to the next step using the comma, I want to find the email address again, so I want to look in column reference number 5. And again, I want an approximate match, so I'm going to say false and enter. We can see that employee 109 is the email address dave.ball@myemail.com. Now let's say I wanted to have a look at Stephanie. Oh, it helps if you type Stephanie right. And this time I want to have a look at what her job title is. Using the VLOOKUP again, so equals VLOOKUP, open brackets. My lookup value, again let's reference the cell, is Stephanie. Where am I going to find it? Now if I select the range of data starting at column B, it's not going to give me a result because it's going to look down that first column for the name Stephanie and it's not going to find it, so it's going to give you an error. So this is where I'm saying when you select your range of data, your VLOOKUP value has to be found in that first column of data. So in this instance, I want to start my range of data in column C. So I'm going to pick up from C5 through to F14. That's the range of data I'm going to find the VLOOKUP value in the first column. Which column index do I want to return? So I want to have a look at job title. Now, my range of data starts in column C. So this is column number 1. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So the result is going to be found in the 3rd column. And again, I want an exact match, so I'm going to say false. Close brackets, enter, and we can see there that Stephanie has the job title of accountant. And I could change this to Wendy, and because I'm referencing the cell, my information or the result of the formula is automatically updated. And I can do the same up here, so I can say 101, that's mike.jones@myemail.com. So that's how the VLOOKUP function works. Really, really handy if you want to pull out specific information based on a table or a range of data. So for more tips and tricks and skills, please keep your eyes peeled on my social media pages and also on my website.